So hello everybody, welcome to the next video of the greatest showdown of all time. Round 1 has now taken place. Round 2 is beginning tomorrow, or Tuesday, if this goes out on Tuesday. And yeah, it's been good actually. It took a little bit longer than I thought. Like, it kind of went as expected, but I kind of underestimated how many days it was. But yeah, very excited for it. I enjoyed it, it's great. I'm going to go through all the picks now, what I thought about each one, and yeah, then we get on to round 2. So round 1, we have Jaden versus Aaron. We need to talk about Kevin versus the Black Phone. Now, I do want to say, the loser of this round had a very good pick. Being that, even though one of these two went out, the one that went out could have easily beat at least 2 or 3 of the people that are still in. Like, it was a very unlucky pick. We need to talk about Kevin. I'm going to say right now, was the best pick of round 1. It was, like, there's no denying. I love that movie. Maybe it's because I went first. I don't think so, though. I think it was for me. It was my kind of movie. I loved it. I really did. Black Phone, I don't like horrors. And I like that one. So it was a good horror. Like, it wasn't even anything, like, totally crazy or totally good. It just felt like a proper made movie. You know, a lot of horrors these days. Jump scares, you know, not much plot, just kind of standard. This felt like someone had an idea when they made this. We need to talk about Kevin. Definitely went through. The end of that was crazy. I didn't see that coming. You know, I knew something would happen, but I didn't think it was going to be that. And yeah, like, it's a great movie. That one easy went through. Round 2, we have Sarah with Identity versus Hugo with Brazil. Now, I knew this was going to go one of 2 ways. Either I knew I was going to like Identity. It was going to be a solid, 7, 8 out of 10. And in Brazil, I was either going to love it or it would have been a stinker. And let me tell you, it was a stinker. Now, stinkers may be harsh, but like, it wasn't, I didn't like it that much. I could see it was a good movie. I could see some people would love this movie, but for me, I didn't like it. I didn't. Like, actually, let me say that again. I did like it. Just, I liked it, if that makes sense. Like, it was a 3 out of 5. It was a 6 out of 10. It was standard. It was a fun time. Sarah has since watched it herself, and she also said she struggled to get through it. So it's not just me kind of being critical here. Like, I think it's a very, you're either going to love this movie or hate it. I knew the craziness could maybe be too crazy, or I was going to make me love it, and it didn't work too much. Those bits I liked, though. There was some really funny bits. I liked the idea of it. It's just, yeah, Identity went through. I loved that movie. We then had the controversial round 3, which was Scorpion King versus Power of One. Now, believe it or not, there was a point while I was watching Power of One where I was thinking, oh god, Scorpion King really win here. Because it was a very slow, boring movie. Well, not boring, but like, it was a slog. It was a slog. And I was kind of thinking like, wow, Scorpion King could actually win. It didn't, sadly. Even though I really wanted to. It was by far the worst movie of the competition. Like, there was barely anything redeemable about it. But it was fun, right? And then we had Power of One, which was like slow, a lot of happening, maybe too much happening, just kind of like, what's going on? But there was 1 or 2 moments where you're like, you know what? That actually made me feel a little bit of emotion. It made me feel a little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness. Where Scorpion King was nothing. It was just, and I tried to like it. I wanted this to go through. I really did. Sadly, though, that's out. So Elliot and Aaron both went out, which I kind of feel bad about. I won't lie. I'll get onto the people who's out in a minute. But, like, a lot of the people I would have predicted to go far are out. Round 4, we had Rye Lane versus King of Comedy. And that's another one where the one that went out, Rye Lane, I didn't put that one through. Against someone else, that could have been a close fight. King of Comedy was maybe my 2nd, 3rd, or at least 4th favourite movie of this tournament. Which I know is a lot, isn't great because there's only 8 people who've gone through. But that was a very good movie. I loved that. It probably was my 2nd, I won't lie, 2nd or 3rd. Like, I really, really, really did like that one. So Rye Lane didn't stand much of a chance. I will say Rye Lane, I didn't like it as much as other people have liked it. But it was a good movie. And it was very short as well, which had that going for it. And it was like, it was new. It was a newer one. I did like that one. But yeah, King Comedy, easy win there. Perhaps the biggest shock, though, was round 5, which saw Third Man, Elise's pick, go out to 7 Psychopaths, which I didn't expect at all, by the way. 7 Psychopaths, directed by someone I don't like his movies of. I've seen In Bruges, I've seen The Banshees. I didn't like either of those. I thought this was guaranteed another one I didn't like, right? Followed by Third Man, critically acclaimed, 99%. Like, everyone loves that movie. I didn't like it. I think the 99% definitely made me, I had more expectation for it, which didn't help. But even besides that, I don't know, like, it was good to see, like, a first of cinema, if that makes sense, like a real pioneer. But it wasn't for me. I didn't like it. It was a solid 3. I gave it a 3. I didn't hate it, but I couldn't give it much higher. Whereas Seven Psychopaths I really liked. Battle number 6, we had Scott with Clouds versus Jay with The Cat Returns. Now, everyone who has seen The Cat Returns saw that was picked and said, that's going to go through. That's a good movie. I'll be honest, animes, I'm not in an anime mood right now, so that might have had an effect. But also, as animes go, I don't think it was like one of the top ones. And that's not me being harsh. I don't know, it was just very standard. It was a fun movie, it was creative, it was different. But it wasn't like it wasn't thought-provoking. I wasn't like, oh wow, this is really, blowing my mind. It was just exactly what I expected it to be. Whereas Clouds, I was enjoying it anyway, because it's quite sad. It's about someone who has cancer, who wants to be a musician, who, kind of dies. And then I found out it was a true story at the end. And I was like, oh, this is like, I was liking it already, and I would have liked it if it wasn't a true story. But the fact it's a true story made it a better movie. It did. I liked that one a lot. It was a solid 4, like, the only one that got more than a 4 was Let's Talk About Kevin, which got a 4.5 out of 5. But Clouds was a very strong contender, and I think Scott is someone who can go far in this competition. Second last battle, we had Vast of Night, which is from Oscar, versus Wills, who had The Raid, which is 2 very different movies. The Raid, let's go for first. In terms of action, could not be beaten. If I had categories like best horror, best this, and I said best action movie, The Raid would be unbeatable. It would. However, because it's about just pick a movie that I'm gonna like best, I'm not an action guy. I like the John Wicks. I like a few here and there, but it's more because they're like, 1 in a million kind of thing. And The Raid is in a way, but like, I'm not an action guy. I'm not someone who's gonna go, I really like that action, that's a good movie. Not typically. Like Mad Max Fury Road, I do not like, because it's similar to The Raid, where it's like, it's just stuff happening, there's no actual plot. This was like that. This was much better than Mad Max for me, but it was a similar thing where it was like very good action, everything else is like Whereas Vast of the Night, I'm a big Lord Horror fan, right? I've got a Lord Horror tattoo up there. Vast of the Night was so similar to Lord Horror, and it has so many vibes of it. I can't explain why, but it really did. It's like this very mysterious one about like a radio host or like a radio person who hears a signal, turns into this alien thing. But there's no aliens in the movie. It's just them like, they go to see someone who also heard the sound, who gives their story, and then it's like a little thing. It's really good. It's 90 minutes. It's shot like it's like this hidden archive footage kind of, not footage, but like hidden archive movie that was made ages ago. Like, I really love that movie. That one I think is my second favorite of the competition, ahead of King Comedy. I would say that one, if I was doing this like everyone just picked one movie and it went through, that would have got to the final for sure, along with We Need to Talk About Kevin. Final battle though, we had V for Vendetta with Emil versus Come On Come On with Ezra, and Ezra definitely picked the best movie there. Emil, I feel bad for him, because I kind of, give me a movie, as I did with everyone, but like, he gave me a couple really good ones, which I've already seen, and then he went for that one as like his 5th pick. So I kind of feel bad, because he definitely had some better movies, but that one, it was standard. You know what I mean? It was a standard action, kind of fun movie. That dog's back again, Jesus. It was a standard action movie, but there wasn't much, like, excitement. I don't know what to say. There wasn't much that in 5 months' time I'm going to go, oh, V for Vendetta, that was a good movie. Whereas Vast of Night, Come On Come On, all the ones that have won had a little bit of that at some point. Come On Come On, though, is a very good movie. It didn't just, it's not going through because it was up against V for Vendetta. It was actually a good movie. It was black and white. It had Hawking Phoenix in it. I don't know how to say that name, by the way. If you listen to the last video, I didn't say it properly either. It had Mr. Phoenix in it, and it was just really good. It was a good movie. It was about him looking after his nephew. I couldn't complain. So yeah, that's everyone who's gone through. Very exciting stuff. I'm very surprised. Wills is out. I'm just skipping all the people that didn't pick a good movie now. Wills is out, Aaron's out, Elliot's out. Those are the 3 people I would have definitely picked to be in the semi-final if I had to predict at the start. Like, I feel a bit bad because Aaron definitely picked a better movie than, like, you know, than my uncle, than Andy, than Scott, and he's out. So I do feel bad for Aaron. Elliot, I feel like he's a bit salty. I messaged him saying, by the way, I don't need a second round pick from you. I've messaged him a few other times since, and he's not replied to anything. So I think that actually, like, got to him a little bit, just a little bit. He's probably going to be like, no, it didn't. But I can tell it hurt him a little bit that he went out straight away. Not that he cares about the competition, just the fact that I've kind of been like, hey, you can't pick a good movie. Hugo went out. Hugo was a 50-50 one. Yeah, I think Will's and Aaron's the big two who, like, got very unlucky. And I know if I ever do this again, I feel like there are people who could come in with some absolute bangers. But sadly, they're gone. As for the quarterfinals, which we're moving on to now, we have four rounds now, 4 fixtures. I've got to be honest, the quarterfinals, they feel like absolute, you know, creme de la creme. Like, you know, the first round, there was a couple, you know, Brazil was 50-50, Scorpion King, Power of One. There was movies I looked at and I went, before I watched them, right? I was trying to be unbiased, but there was some. These quarterfinal picks, all of them look like they could be like a winner. I genuinely mean that. I feel like the quality has somehow gone up, even though most people give me their best one first. So in round 1, or, you know, the fixture 1 of the quarterfinals, we have Jaden versus Sarah, who, by the way, are 2 people I really want to get far, because they're the 2 I would say have been, like, most invested, most like, yeah, I'm gonna win this. So, like, the fact that I'm gonna have to kick one of them out, I feel really bad. But we have Jaden who's picked District 9, and Sarah who's picked A Matter of Life and Death. Now, I don't know anything about those 2 movies, except that they're meant to both be good. I've seen, like, a little synopsis about both of them. I don't think I've seen a synopsis about District 9, actually, but, like, I know what Matter of Death is about. I know what District 9 is, like, vaguely about. It's like, aliens. It's, like, a fun take on them. And I think I'm going to like both movies. I'm already nervous to kick one of these 2 people out. And it's tomorrow as well. But it's specifically because I know I'm going to like both of them. And I know both people have picked a movie. They've really gone through this competition. And I'm going to have to be like, hey, you're out to one of these people. And that breaks my heart. But that one is probably the highlight of the quarterfinals, I would say. Fixture 2, though, we have 2 very good movies as well. We have my Uncle James, who's picked Leon, which, you know, I don't know anything about Leon besides it's got, like, Gary Oldman in it. But I know a lot of people have been like, oh, you've got to watch Leon, before this competition has even happened. But just prior knowledge, I know this is good. And then Chris has gone for Dog Day Afternoon, which, again, I don't know anything about besides it's a robbery that's like a true story that goes badly. But that one is one I know is meant to be quite good as well. So it's like, that is a tough round. Like, whoever goes through out of this side, like, no offense to Andy, Scott, Oscar, Ezra, but this definitely feels like the, like, stronger bracket. It does. It definitely feels like the stronger side. Yeah, there's gonna be a semi-final here out of Jaden, Sarah, Uncle James, and Chris. Like, that's whichever 2 go through, that's a good 2. Over on the other side, though, we have Andy, who has picked LA Confidential, and Scott, who has picked Palm Springs. 2 very different movies. LA Confidential, the only thing I can think of compared to it, and it's not because it's got LA in the name, is LA Noir. I think it's similar to that kind of detective-y thing. That could either go really well and be my new favourite movie. Genuinely, I love the sound of that. Or a little bit too long, a little bit too slow. I don't know how long it is or whatever, but, like, I'm either going to love that or it's going to be a bit too, like, medium for me. I'll be honest, it will. But I could love that. Palm Springs, though, I don't know about that one either. I think it's a comedy. It's got Andy Sandberg, is it? The guy from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's got him in it, or I love. It could be really funny. I don't know anything about it. The, like, poster looks really bright and colourful, and I like that. I don't know much more though. But yeah, so then fixture 4, this is the one I'm probably most excited for. This is one I'm really, really eager to see. We have Oscar versus Ezra. Now, anyone who's not at TVM won't know this, but those 2 are in a relationship, right? They're together. They're partners. One of them are going to go through. They're battling each other. I was hoping that would happen. It could have happened with them and also Elise and Jay, who neither of them went through. That's a bit awkward. But Oscar and Ezra luckily got through. So they're against each other. That's going to be so funny. Oscar's going for Whisker Away, which is an anime, which could be risky. Either animes I either love those movies or they're just a bit, like, not for me. You know, Jay backfired because they picked an anime. So it could backfire on Oscar as well. I'm not sure. Ezra, on the other hand, went for Fifth Element. I don't know anything about that movie, but I have heard about that one. That one is, I think, pretty good. I don't know though. Chris hasn't seen it. I don't know anyone who's seen it to talk about and see if it's a good movie, but like, I've at least heard of that one. That's probably the one I'm most aware of going into for quarterfinals. Yeah, very excited. I don't really have any predictions. If I really had to force a guess, Jaden and Sarah I wouldn't be able to pick between. I think Chris is most likely to go through just based on what I know. With Andy, I think Andy's movie is one that is either going to get an 8 out of 10 or, you know, like a 4 out of 10. I think I'm either going to love that movie or I'm going to hate that movie. There's no chance it gets like a 6, if that makes sense. Where Scott, I think, is like a guaranteed 6 or 7. And it just depends how well Andy does. Similar to Brazil and Identity from round 1. I would say it's a very similar kind of feeling. As for Oscar and Ezra, I would really guess Fifth Element as a strong chance, unless Whisk Away is like amazing. And there's a good chance it will be, but I think Ezra's is a strong contender there, I would say. But yeah, not much else to say though. Very excited. I think everyone who's left in is someone who's kind of like up for the tournament, really really into winning now. Especially, you know, if someone gets through here, they're only like one away from the final, you know. So yeah, very excited. We're getting to the end now. We're nearly at the end game. The next time you see me, round 2 will be done. I hope you enjoyed this little pre-talk, this little look into it, / my thoughts of round 1. And yeah, you will see me when round 3 is about to commence. Away we go. Oh, by the way, if you're someone who's not in this competition and you're like, you know, if you're Jody, Becky, Jason, you're thinking like, damn, why didn't you get my film knowledge or my film taste or my film, you know, choice? Let's just say I went for the most trusted film people. No offense. But yeah, besides that, I will see you then.